Right, folks, in this video, we are going to be talking about the main event of UFC 303. It's the rematch between Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka. Now, this is not the original main event. As you guys might remember, we originally were going to get Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. That fell apart, as expected. We kind of saw that coming. So now we have Alex Pereira, Jiri Prochazka, two short notice. Who does the short notice favor? That I don't know. But I would lean on the side of Pereira for that, for the simple fact that he won the last fight, and this does not give Yuri enough time to really take a full camp to break down what mistakes he made in the last one. But we'll see. Let's break down their skill set. Maybe there's something to take away from that, and we'll go from there. So 4-1 in the last five for both of these fellas. For Prochazka, his last loss, his only loss in his last five, is to Alex Pereira. Pereira, his last loss was down at middleweight against Adesanya, and is what happened there. So this one here, when we look at these guys, nuts and bolts style, both of them are strikers. That's why I have mostly just striking stuff broken down here on the board. And we saw in the first fight that that's what they want to do, is they want to strike with each other. And that's probably how this is going to go. Neither guy is quick to go to the grappling. Now, could they? Yeah, we've been seeing Pereira start working with his judo throws. You got the lesson from Kayla Harrison. And we saw Prochazka get a rear naked choke over Glover Teixeira, but that was kind of a weird thing. Either way, I think that this is going to be a striking matchup, and if it's not, we don't really have enough to go off of to break down the grappling between these two because they just don't use it very often. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go over the striking skills, how I think this fight's going to play out, and we're going to come away with a prediction. So for Prochazka, when we look at this guy, he's a very odd sort of fighter, right? His style is very different from most, but he is a solid striker nonetheless, and he has really good movement, albeit awkward. He doesn't move his head so much, but he moves his whole body and gets around and uses that movement to stay out of the way. Now, he'll start to move the head a little bit, but not in the traditional boxing sense or anything like that. A lot of the times, it's a lot of move the whole body, but the head will just kind of be a little bit further along. He's very explosive in his movements, whether that be from that jab that he works, which comes from just the wildest angles because his hands are down low and it's incredibly quick, or where he does things like that weird front kick. That's kind of like that sneaky one up the middle where he kind of leans forward and then cocks back and throws that front kick up the middle. And things like that can cause his opponents a lot of trouble. So for Jiri Prochazka, coming in with these weird type of things works for him a lot. He does spin a lot as well, which can be good or bad. But that spinning elbow that he landed on Dominic Reyes was clearly a game changer, and Dominic Reyes hasn't looked the same since. I know he won his last one, but that was the moment that Dominic Reyes' chin was just gone. So for Jiri Prochazka, he has the tools, and when he does stop doing like kind of weird stuff, and he's able to start mixing in just regular, good old fashioned striking, he does have clean combinations. He's very accurate. He mixes up single shots and combinations, which is important. But the thing that's most prevalent for Jiri Prochazka is that power. Now, when you look at these two, you think of Pereira being the power guy, which he is, but Prochazka's got 26 KOs out of his 30 wins. That's incredible. That is a lot. But there are some red flags on the Prochazka side, and we're going to highlight those right now. So the red flags that I see right here, these are what cost him in the last fight. First off, he doesn't block anything. Okay, that's not the biggest problem, but it's a problem. The problem is he doesn't check leg kicks, and he's extremely heavy on his lead leg. That's going to be a problem, and we're going to cover that a little bit more when we get to the Pereira side, but I'm going to make the line now so I don't forget. He is incredibly durable, and we saw that in the Rakic fight, because what we saw is that Prochazka was able to eat these shots, eat the leg kicks, his leg looked terrible there, and just keep coming and just outdog his opponent. That's tougher against Alex Pereira than it was against Rakic. Rakic was coming off a big layoff, first fight in, 2 years almost or so. So getting back in there that first time against Jiri Prochazka is a tough task. However, Pereira's felt this before. He's felt this pressure. He's felt this style from Prochazka because they fought before. So how is Prochazka going to adjust? I do think if this fight starts to go late, the cardio side is going to be on Prochazka because the guy has fantastic cardio. Not that Pereira has bad cardio, but Prochazka just can put up a pace late in a fight and still keep going. So I do think if he can draw this late, he's going to have some success. But the problem is, can he draw this late without taking too many shots to the leg, without being too compromised to move properly, and then also without taking so much damage that at that point, even if he does make it to the final bell, he's going to lose the decision type of thing. So for me, there's some things that Prochazka can do, mostly this, but he needs to address this, otherwise he's in trouble because he's going against a guy in Alex Pereira who's a very strong striker with good forward pressure, walks guys down and kind of backs them up against the cage. And when he backs them up against the cage, he kind of corners them, which is weird because it's an octagon. So there's not a lot of sharp corners, right? But he's able to kind of just pin them there and just kind of cut them off from movement just by being right out in there and making it so anytime they step, it's in the danger zone. And he's very good at doing that. And what he's going to do is use his range extremely well. So he's a long, tall guy. Now, I understand Prochazka's got a similar reach. It's the same reach, actually. But for Pereira, he's really good at controlling that range perfectly. He always knows exactly what distance he needs to be and where he is. So he does a good job at that. He also does a lot of parrying with his head movement. Now, he doesn't have the best head movement. He uses it some, but he does a lot of parrying and just getting slightly out of the way when he parries things off. And then he'll trap the hands sometimes and come over the top. He's able to do that in fights where his opponents are coming forward with the volume, throwing things at him, and making him really work. So for Pereira, this type of stuff might be hard to do against a guy like Prochazka because he's such an unorthodox striker. But using the range and then kind of parrying when he's fully at range and parrying with straight shots, sure. But when he's in tight, that's going to be a problem. Prochazka can capitalize on that with some of that goofy stuff he does, those spinning elbows, like a sneaky front kick up the middle like I talked about. So those type of things, that he's going to have to be careful about. But we'll see how that works out. He's going to have to control that range. He checks leg and body kicks extremely well. That is important. Most people don't check body kicks. They check just the leg kicks. Pereira does a good job at checking both, and I think that comes from that kickboxing background. He's got extremely deadly power, and we've seen that. And what he does to set up this power is he'll work the jab to the body. Why does he work the jab to the body? Well, he works the jab to the body first off because, when he jabs somebody in the body, it sucks that gas tank a little bit. But the main thing is he's trying to get you to react, because when he does this, he's leaving this open, right? When you jab to the body, you leave yourself open. That's going to give him the chance to parry if he can't get there quick enough. But a lot of times what he'll do is jab to the body and then come up with that sneaky lead hand and hit that powerful left hook. That left hook that just knocks guys dead. Most of his knockouts seem to be coming from that left hook, and that's what he does. He sets it up with a jab to the body, draws out your reaction, and then hits you with that lead hook and just puts you down. Now, he can counter off of your counter, essentially, or he can just counter when you're coming forward. And to draw reactions from Prochazka is different because he doesn't have the same style. Because his jab, so if Pereira jabs to the body, Prochazka's hands are low, so Prochazka's already jabbing from that same angle. So it is a little bit different, but it still essentially works the same as far as jab and just draw to reaction. The only difference is you're not trying to get the hands to extend away from the face because they're already away from the face. So that's the only difference in this specific matchup with that jab to the body. He's also got very good knees up the middle, and that flying knee is he kind of just floats, right? When he throws that flying knee, it's not super explosive. It's not super, it's not like a big type of movement. It's just a very just kind of floats up with that flying knee, comes on in. If he lands, you're probably going down. But it's a good way for him to also crash distance when he needs to use that. But ultimately, the main thing that we're looking for Pereira, not only his mix of single shots and combinations and able to get this, but the leg kicks. The leg kicks, folks. That's what we're looking for. The leg kicks are the key. And everybody kind of is going to say the same thing. I understand. If he can get that going just like he did in the first fight and start compromising the leg of Prochazka, who just had his leg compromised against Rakic, I do think that those leg kicks are going to add up quick. So Prochazka needs to get this one done early if he wants to get the win, because I don't think as the fight drags on, his leg's going to be there to stand on, if you know what I'm saying. So for me, Alex Pereira has the advantage coming into this fight with a few caveats. He was presumably on vacation when he got the call for this fight a couple of weeks ago, and that could be bad. He also had a couple of broken toes in his last fight, which was also not that long ago. UFC 300, we're at 303. It's not very long ago. So I could see a world where Alex Pereira isn't using the leg kicks to his fullest ability. He's got the busted toes, whatever. But ultimately, I think he knows that he wants to win this fight, and some broken toes aren't going to stop him from throwing some kicks. So I assume the kicks are going to be there. I assume he's going to be landing the leg kicks, and I assume that because of that, Alex Pereira is going to go up 2-0 over Jiri Prochazka. So my pick is going to be Alex Pereira. Let me know who you have, though. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. These deep dives into a main event, I like to do these. Also, like the video while you're down there. You can help me out by doing that. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take any money away from your pocket. All you gotta do is hit that like button. I do appreciate it so much. But please do that. But give me your comments. Give me your predictions. I'd love to hear it. And we'll see you guys in the full card breakdown coming up soon.